Buying a home is an exciting time in your life, and buying your first home is a big accomplishment. However, there are some things that you need to be aware of, especially in this market that we're facing right now. The pandemic changed the real estate game in markets all across North America. We are in a big seller's market where there are bidding wars and limited inventory and buyers overpaying for their home and then getting buyer's remorse, and then all these things that we need to account for now, especially with the spring market. This is the busiest time of the year for real estate. And so if you are a first-time home buyer or considering purchasing your first home, then this is where you need to be, because I'm going to let you in on not only the biggest mistakes that first-time home buyers are making these days, but I'll actually go into some tips on how to save money so that you're not paying more than you have to on your next home. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Rochelle Manguino here. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. This is where I drop everything that you need to know about buying, selling, and investing in real estate. I've been a real estate agent here in Toronto, Canada for the last 7 years, helping people just like you and you and you and you and you make the move to the city. And so if you are looking to make a move here yourself or anywhere in Canada or the US, just give me a shout. I have realtor friends all across the states and here, and I'd be happy to help you make a referral to those that I personally know and trust. But before that, let's get into what you need to do before you even reach out to any real estate agent. Is number one, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that first-time home buyers are making right now, is not fully understanding the importance of having a financing condition in place. And what that is basically protecting you as the buyer by telling the seller that your offer is good, but only if you can get financing on the property. Because of the market that we're in right now, there are multiple offers on homes. The competition for housing is very stiff. And so what people are doing to make their offers strong and stand out is that they're not putting in a financing condition. And that's generally not the best idea, but under the right circumstances is okay. The one thing that we need to understand, and I'll use an example just to make things easy, is that if the home appraises for less than what you've offered to pay, that spells trouble. So say you have a house that's listed for $900,000, but then you offer $1 million to try and win the bid. Well, if the home only appraises for $900,000, then the bank is going to say, well, you overpaid for the home and we're not going to lend you what you overpaid. You're going to have to come up with that on your own. And if you're like most people and you don't have $100K just laying around, then the deal dies, and that could put you in legal trouble, because all the documents that you sign when it comes to buying a home are all legal contracts and legally binding. So that's why it's crucial to not only understand your budget, but sticking to it is critical too. Which leads me to my next point, which is, how do you even know what your budget is? Because too many times, and this is another big mistake that first-time home buyers make, is that they go out shopping for homes, touring properties, driving around to different areas, and all the while they aren't even financially qualified to even buy a house. And I get it, you know, making a decision to buy your first home is so exciting, and actually visiting homes and seeing what they look like, that's the funnest part. I get it. But the problem is that they don't even know if they can afford these homes. You know, they think they know. They have these slick websites out there where they have mortgage calculators. You can find out how much your mortgage payments are going to be online, and all these things that are seemingly helpful. But unless you've spoken with an actual lender, then going out shopping without being pre-approved for a mortgage is setting yourself up for failure. You need to talk to a lender first and get pre-qualified. You might think that you can afford an $800,000 house downtown, but the lender comes back to you and says, no, only $600,000. And this happens way more often than not. And so that's gonna change a lot. You know, you may have to start looking outside of the city. Please do your due diligence, guys. Talk to a lender and get a concrete, actual number. Work with that, and then start looking at homes in that price range. Now, this all leads me to number three. The third biggest mistake that first-time homebuyers make is that they go to their bank to get pre-approved for a mortgage. And now I know what you're thinking. What's wrong with that? Or else you get a mortgage for your home, right? Let me tell you guys that going to the bank this might actually cost you thousands of dollars in the long run. I will never tell my clients to go to their bank for their mortgage. If they've already done that, then, before talking to me, then it is what it is, and that's fine. But I always advise my clients to reach out to a mortgage broker, someone who is not affiliated, or exclusive rather, I should say, to a bank. And the reason why is because the thing with banks is that they're only offering, they only have access to their own mortgage rates and products. But on the other hand, mortgage brokers have access to multiple lenders and products and rates. So not just your BMO across the street, but a bunch of different banks, bunch of different credit unions, and even B lenders. And what they do is they actually shop around for you. They go through all their different rates that they have access to at the time. They do their comparison shopping, and then at the end, they get the best mortgage rate and terms for your specific needs. That's amazing, because if the bank that you have, your everyday bank, say they're offering rates at 2.4%, but another financial institution down the street is at 1.9%, but you wouldn't even have known that if it wasn't for your mortgage broker. That could likely mean a savings of thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars over the length of your mortgage. And it's no less convenient to shop with a mortgage broker than your bank, because all of this can be done online these days. So really, you have nothing to lose. Now, speaking of money, and this is another common mistake that I see home buyers do, is that making a down payment that is too small. In my market, for example, you can get a home for as little as 5% down in some cases, but I've always said that just because you can doesn't mean you should. The reason why is because the smaller your down payment, the more money you're putting towards interest rather than your actual mortgage principal. So you're not gaining any equity towards your home, and it'll be much longer in the long run before you actually pay off your mortgage. So just be mindful of that. The next big mistake that I'm seeing with first-time home buyers right now is being indecisive. They're waiting too long to make moves on a home that they like, and they end up losing out on the property. And I get it. When you're buying a home for the first time, this is a big move with a lot of money on the line. So you do want to make sure that you're comfortable with any decision that you make. However, there is a big difference between, being comfortable and decisive and just dragging your feet on the ground waiting for a miracle to happen. Because in this market, guys, when offers are going left and right and decisions need to be made quickly, speed is your friend. And guys, this is not something that I'm saying just to put pressure on you or anything like that. It's just something that you want to expect and be prepared for, because these days, there isn't time to sit around and mull things over. Hopefully, you have a good understanding of what you like, what fits your style, where you can see yourself living long term. And then if you do see that home, that you do make a move right away. Your best armor in this case, and the best strategy before you even find yourself in this position, is to just take the first couple of weeks in your research or in your home search to just get a feel for what prices are like in your area. Because you might notice, for example, the homes are listed for say $1 million even, and then they end up selling for 1.2 or 1.3. And so just be well informed and prepared for how the market is moving, because time is of the essence. Properties are moving quickly. There's limited inventory as is, but that's just the name of the game. And so if you are armed with the right knowledge and go in with the right expectations, then you will inevitably be more comfortable making quicker decisions and ultimately come out on top. Now, once you do lock in a home, you've made an offer, it's been accepted, then congratulations, that's really exciting. But a common mistake for a lot of first-time home buyers is not realizing that you have closing costs. Closing costs are expenses that you need to pay on top of your mortgage on the day you close on your home. So for example, when you buy your property, you purchase real estate, you need a real estate lawyer. You do need a real estate lawyer because they make sure that all of your legal obligations are fulfilled. Buying a home does involve hundreds of thousands of dollars and two parties. It's not just you, there's a seller involved in this too. And so this is likely the biggest purchase of your life in so many ways. And so you want to make sure that your interests are protected. You're not getting screwed over by the seller in some way, because the furnace isn't working, but now it's not. And so that's why you need a lawyer, and the lawyer's fees are added to your final closing costs. If you're in Ontario, Canada, and in Toronto specifically, you are going to pay a ton of money on something called land transfer taxes. So this is basically the government's way of making more money off you every time you buy a house. And so the land transfer taxes for the average home here in Toronto, you are paying over $35,000 in provincial and municipal land transfer taxes. And now this isn't typical for the rest of Ontario or Canada even. And I do have this video that you can check out where if you are from Toronto, it does go through the cost, this cost specifically a little bit more in detail so that you actually know why that figure is so high. The general rule of thumb is to have 2 to 5% of the purchase price set aside for closing costs. And then last but not least, when you do finally get a home, your offer's been accepted, your mortgage is in check, and everything is good to go, there is one last mistake that I see is underestimating the cost of home ownership. Owning a home has expenses. When you own a home, you're not just paying your mortgage. There are so many other, I don't want to say little, but they're not little. They're big expenses that people don't take into consideration or they don't know about. And so the biggest ones would be your property taxes. So here in my market, for example, property taxes are an average of about $5,000 a year. And that's a fee that you have to pay every year for as long as you own the home. So it's going to be $5,000 this year, $5,000 next year, $5,000 the year after that, or whatever that figure is in your market. Another big cost is home insurance. That's another thing that on average you're looking at about $1,000 to $2,000 a year. Another big expense are utilities. You can expect to pay about $3,500 a year or so for things like hydro, water, gas, internet, and cable. And so right off the bat, I just rhymed off about $10,000 a year in normal everyday things that homeowners pay for. Never mind the one-offs, of unexpected repairs. The general rule of thumb is to account about 1% of the purchase price of your home and set it aside for general maintenance and repairs. Just put it aside in another account and just use that money as a rainy day account. And it's not a matter of if things need to be fixed in your home, it's just a matter of when. But there you have it. Those are your top 7 mistakes that first-time home buyers are making right now. And hopefully, now that you know what they are, you can avoid them and just be a more informed buyer. That will help you along your way because buying a home is a big decision and the process can seem a bit stressful or daunting, especially if you're going at it for the first time. But I'm here to make sure that your journey is exciting and fulfilling. And so if you're looking to purchase a home, whether you're in Toronto or the Greater Toronto area, you can give me a shout. I would love to help you out. All of my contact is in the description below. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or even schedule a Zoom call with me, all down below. I'm also gonna do another video, which I think you might be helpful, or you might find helpful with, tips and strategies to actually win your next home. If you are in multiple offers, we are seeing a lot of bidding wars recently. And so I'll have these secret strategies that have helped me. So make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when I drop that video. And if you did find value in this video, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe because it does help with the YouTube algorithm so that they keep pushing out the videos so that they can help people just like you, first-time home buyers, looking for strategies to help them save money on their next home. In the meantime, check out this video on the pros and cons in Toronto. If you've ever considered moving to the city, I go through the good and the bad and the ugly of this one. I even go through a time where a guy said hi to me at the store and I had to run to my car because sometimes Torontonians can just be so shady. So check it out. I'll put a link to it at the end if you want a good laugh. Much love to our Ukrainian friends around the world. Stay safe, everybody, and I will see you in my next video.